back. Kick-ons with Cam and Clug, episode 10. Cluggy, we got to 10. How good?
Unbelievable, Paul, and off the back of a nice weight session, so feeling up and about.
I was feeling up and about. Did 97 for 8. Hughie,
up
so
around the bench.
for our 10th episode, I thought it'd be something special, so I wrote you a poem. Sammy doesn't know about this, but do you want to read it?
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah.
A poem. Roses are red, violets are blue. Tell us your favourite date stop so Mrs. McLeod can take you. Did you come up with that? No,
I promise you, I was thinking about that on the massage table.
Oh my goodness me.
No, that's all right.
Well, my favourite date stop would be Zero Fox in Newstead.
Oh, okay.
That's a good little spot there.
Well, if you're rolling around, you're trying to try and find where you
want to win my heart.
There it is. And actually, we're going to keep going from this. Talk about heart. Mother's Day on Sunday. You had your lovely mum and your dad up. What'd you get up to, mate, after the game?
What did we do? It was pretty quiet Saturday, but then Sunday we went over to Newstead actually.
Did you go to your spot?
No, we went just down the road, Jimmy's Street Corner, I think it was. Yeah. It's a little pub there, and then we went to the Powerhouse to some comedy that night, and had a nice feed at Bar Alto. So
Jim Owen.
Yeah, Jim Owen, it was quite funny. Had Dad laughing, a couple of jokes about country fellas. So Dad was in stitches, but it was a great day. What about you, Pum? You had Mum up as well?
Yeah, Mum was here. So we, what do we do? Valley Hops Brewery in the Valley for a lunch with her and Liv's parents, which was good. And then we went down to Fallon's for the afternoon. And yeah, chilled out there, which was good. And then last night, because obviously Liv's parents, Italian, went to the Nonnas for a Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah, how was that?
So good.
Good feed?
Yeah, like this is no exaggeration. I'm going to run it down. Lasagna for entree. Like
lasagna for entree?
A full slab of lasagna comes out. Then they call it cotoletta, but it's like a chicken snitty. So they come out. Then there's like a, almost like a meatloaf with eggs in the middle, which is sliced.
Oh, right.
That, zucchini. Yeah. Then you had broccoli, salads, and then they've come out at the end after all this has been eaten. This is the main bit. She brings out a roast. Brings out a roast.
Didn't eat lunch today.
Oh, mate. And I'm literally the fridge now. It's just got all this food in it. So
how good. Leftovers. You take them home.
Yeah, well, I went to take some this morning, but Liv already grabbed it.
Oh, beautiful. And I love your jumper. You've had a few comments on that today.
This is actually squash. So this is Jack Watts's brand.
Yeah, nice.
Him and the fellas there sent me some stuff out. So shout out to them. This is it's awesome. I like it.
And I'll give Link McCarthy a shout out as well with the country label co. The good t-shirts. Jump online and
I haven't got one of those yet. So.
Oh, really? You're still waiting? No, I had to buy this. Support my teammates.
All right, we'll get into it. So, special edition this week, we got Sir Doug Nichols round. We've got our 2 Indigenous jumpers here, which have been brought to us. They're awesome. Done by Des Headland and Ash McGrath. So, in that fashion, we're going to bring on Nakia Cockatoo and Anthony Corrie, who is was it like a welfare manager, would you say?
Actually, yeah, Indigenous welfare manager.
Yeah,
so he's been at the club for a year or two now, and one of the best fellas you ever meet. Yeah. He'll be great on here, so I can't wait to chat to him. They're
going to run us through the jumper, and then it'll be good to have Cocky on as well. He can talk to us about how he's been going this year in the VFL and everything like that. But even before we get back to Nuxie, was it last year? You and Nuxie went on a big road trip, didn't you?
Yeah, we went back down home to Warrnambool. Yeah, I spent I spent 6 hours in a car with him, just one-on-one. I hadn't really had too much to do with him up until that stage, but it was good fun. We chatted the whole way down. I don't think he even turned the radio on. It was just dead silent, so we had to talk the whole way. But I got to know him pretty well then, and he's always buzzing around the place. So.
And then just at the end of this show today is we're going to have a ticket giveaway for this week's game? This week's game. So that'll be very, very good for everyone to have a go at that. But we'll get into the game against Essendon. The first half was kind of what we expected, to be honest. We thought it was going to be tough, and we thought it was going to be one of those games where we had to grind, and that's what we did, and it came out in the second half.
Yeah, they're a really good side. The Bombers, I think they'd improved a lot since probably last year, and they're missing some key personnel, but still playing good competitive footy. They challenged us throughout the whole game, and we were able to pull away with it and probably make the most of our opportunities a little bit more in the second half. But there's plenty of learnings from the game and stuff for us to improve up against Gold Coast this week, against the rivals, the state rivals. So that'll be a bit of fun, and it's always good playing against them.
And Joey Danaher's in serious form at the moment as well, and just playing big and playing strong. And I feel like funny, Have you seen the story in the newspaper about everyone was saying how he didn't take any influence to the people that he was copping a bit of heat from the start of the year, and then it's come out that he doesn't have a TV, so he never would have heard it.
No, he didn't even know what was going on. But last week he doesn't usually do any media, does he? And then we opened the Courier Mail up on Saturday morning, and there he was, and now he's kicked 6. So I think we might have to get him on the podcast.
He'll be the hardest person to come and get on the podcast.
He said I did flag it with him today, and he said, we'll see, maybe later on in the year when we have a bit of a down patch, he'll come on and we'll talk really all things gratefulness and.
Oh, that'd be good. I think we're going to try push for Charlie next week as well. So
no promises.
The bullhead, he's very hard to get on. So I think we're going to have to wait for him to kick 6 or 7, so he's up and about and can come back on. And then Froggy as well. How good's it been to see Frog come back in? Like, I don't think everyone understands how much everyone inside the four walls loves Frog, and it's just been awesome to come in and see him and play his role. Yeah,
he's the ultimate club man. I think probably Frog knew that if he got the chance, he'd be able to do what he's done, but just to see him play so well, I think he was amongst the coaches' votes there, which is an amazing effort as that third tall defender. And there was a few contests early where he swung the momentum of the game, got it going back our way when Eston had possession of the ball, and it was also great to see all the boys get around him instead of the goal kicker, or the goal kicker as well, but recognising the efforts that happened down the field to lead to those shots.
Did you see the vision of Frog running off the ground after he kicked the ball?
No.
Oh my God.
Was he celebrating?
So you got like the behind the goal vision. You don't really see it from broadcast, but he's picked the ball up on the halfback flank and hit up Dev, and then kind of taken off to get it. Oh, not Dev. Sorry, it was you.
Yeah.
Hit up. Went to go past get a. I was talking about with Dev. Went to go past get a handball receive, and they don't use him, so he just keeps sprinting all the way to the bench. So if you watch him behind the goals, you see him take off on the right, like full sprint.
Lucky we hit a target, or else that would have been coming up on the vision.
I know, but it was so good, and we were talking about it yesterday. He was loving it. But Q Clash this week. It should be a good game. They've played some good footy last week against West Coast, and I think they've won
3 of the last 4.
Yeah, so they're in some good form. What do you reckon it's going to be? We know what type of footy they like to play. It's very similar to ours, so that contested ball is going to be key, isn't it?
Yeah, as we say most weeks, the midfield's going to have a really big battle to get the territory and get the forwards in the game. They've got some really dangerous forwards. King as a key. They've got actually quite a tall forward line, but they've also got guys that can crumb. And we've got the same thing. So I think, I'd be getting to the Gabba on Saturday night for sure. It's going to be a really exciting game. There's stars on each side. And there's always a little bit more heat in the contest, I think,
100%.
Just because they're the rivals, the other team in Queensland, and we all really enjoy the game, and we'll be able to play maybe against Tommy and a few other guys. Like
that'd be good to see.
Guys that have come from Gold Coast and vice versa. So. We'll wait and see.
I could easily see like a Tommy Berry, Jared Berry scuffle out there.
They wouldn't be holding back. No way.
You can tell what those two are like they would run into each other and just get up and keep going. But that'd be awesome to see if he can get out there.
Yeah, 100%. Looking forward to it.
Q Clash medal. Mm-hmm. Who won the last one?
Well, you got a zipper.
No, I didn't even notice. My jumper's showing me more things every now and then. This has got zippers everywhere.
It's just keep popping up.
It's unbelievable.
So, Q Clash medal.
Do we know who won the last one?
Was it Took?
No. Took me the one. Yeah, Bales won it. That's who I'm going to go, I think.
Bales?
Yeah.
He's always good in the Q Clash.
He's just creeping to kick a big bag. I think Bales.
I wouldn't be betting on it. It's just so tough because there's players have been popping up for us and for them each week, different players that have played really well, and I think that's what the better teams have is a variety of guys that can take a game away from you. So if I had to pick one, I'll say Charlie because he's just so fun to watch, and there's nothing better than seeing him light up the Gabba, and then hopefully we'll get him on the podcast next week.
Actually, you know what? I'll go Charlie as well so we can start to push that into a reality.
Yeah.
So as we said before, we're giving away a double pass to the weekend this game. Keep your look on the socials. Make sure you listen to the whole podcast because we'll give you some more information at the end.
What's the go? You just have to... Are they just going to...
Yep. So I can message in and tell us your best kick on story or the moments that you've liked. You've got to subscribe to the poddy and get in there. Is that right?
I was going to say, them moments when they've kicked on.
Oh, okay. We can go for that. Sammy just told us some moments that you kicked on. I might have to put one in.
Love it. Love it. Right. Let's get some stories.
Let's get some stories in. How about the best story that gets
the best kick on?
We can talk about that the next week and see if there's anything we can relate to with you.
Good. Keep it PG, though.
Yeah, we'll keep it PG. All right, so we're going to get the boys in next. We'll have a quick break. I think we're going to get Nakia in first, and then we'll get Cockatoo after that to talk us through how he's been going. So stay tuned.
Celebrate a special game with the Brisbane Lions. Sir Doug Nicholls Indigenous Round at the Gabba. Lions v Suns, Saturday 20th of May from 6pm. Be there as we showcase Indigenous talent with headline act Coloured Stone. Tickets at lions.com.au.
Cam, did you know that everyone hears differently and what your left ear hears will be different to your right?
I've actually never really thought about that, to be honest, Hugh.
Yep, well, we all care about our general health as players, but now, thanks to our healthy hearing partner Audira, we know that hearing is such an important part of our well-being. Since we started using Audira's headphones and personalise them through our app to our individual hearing profile, music just sounds clearer. I definitely don't have to turn it up as loud, which protects my hearing. For our listeners, if you're interested in learning more about Audira, head to audira.com, and if you're a Brisbane Lions member, don't forget to check out your member benefits page to get 20% off.
We've got our first guest on of the day. Nakia, Cockatoo, Cocky to the boys. What's going on, mate?
Yeah, not too much.
Not too much?
Yeah, just training hard today.
Go down, have a massage after this.
Yeah, get a massage.
Well, we only got
you.
you for 8 minutes. So
Yeah, not too long. Paul, I've got a little fun fact for you before we start. My uncle actually taught Cocky up in the NT. The CETA program, Ryan.
Yeah.
What's school? Like school or footy?
Yeah, well, school. It was like what was it, Cocky? It was
It was a CETA program.
CETA. Yeah,
Oh, I remember CETA, yeah.
And Clug.
yeah.
Mate, he was probably one of the best teachers I've ever had.
You liked him?
Yeah, I reckon he just he loved his students.
Yeah.
I don't know, he just had a real care about us.
He always thought a bit differently, a bit outside the box, and
Mate. He's a bit like you actually. He's just such a care,
he would have been a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Cocky, here's the jumper. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it? Well, first off, go with the totem. So do you want to explain the totems? So we've got the totems on the back of all our jumpers this year. Do you want to explain to everyone about the totems and the significance of your one?
Yep. So got all the totems here. Mine is where's the crocodile? Oh, there it is right there. Yeah. So that's up from my grandfather's side.
Yeah.
That's Western Yallinji. So I call my grandfather Mukai.
Yeah.
And then obviously I got other totems that I haven't put on yet because there's probably not enough space. But yeah, that's just one part of where my family's from.
Yeah.
On my father's side. Then we go all the way up the coast, so I could explain that. That could be another bloody podcast. And then we've got the rest of the jumper, which is obviously the two Desi Headland and Ash McGrath meeting together.
Yeah, we got them down there as well, which are probably a little bit easy to see maybe on the camera.
So you've got, and then their fathers as well.
Yeah.
So you got the Swan River.
Yeah.
And the Brisbane River meeting together.
Up to the Gabba, which is
in the middle there,
Yeah.
And you obviously got the 4 premierships.
three.
Three, sorry.
premierships.
Yeah. Which are the Lions,
Yep.
and then everyone gathering around. So, and that's sort of the journey that they took to get to where they are,
Yeah.
to get to where they were back then. So,
It looks awesome.
yeah, so it's a pretty special jump off. Obviously, every year we do one, and to see how these come out, they're pretty amazing, and to put them on
it's pretty.
every year, especially last year for me, it was my first time.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so.
We'll just
I mean,
touch
these
on
look
just
amazing,
touch on
yeah.
that a little bit. Like, what's the significance of this round to you, and how important is it to you and all your family?
Obviously, just celebrating just the culture and the history that Indigenous people have brought to the AFL.
Yeah.
Like, there's been a lot of roads, a lot of paths made, just from previous players, and a lot of, I guess, challenges they've gone through to make it better for us to be able to put these to be able to have designs being put on AFL jumpers, which I think is just a massive, I guess, 2 weeks for us.
Yeah, definitely.
And you see the boys going out there doing little dances after they kick goals,
It's awesome, isn't it?
which is wish I'd do it every week. It's such an awesome and honourable thing to put on, especially with these 2 weeks.
Definitely. And you're from Humpty Doo, up in
Yep.
NT. You want to tell us a bit about your upbringing and
Early days
you
footy.
Yeah, well, early days I was living in so Humpty Doo, went through lived on a 5-acre block with my 2 great grandparents. So my nan's mum and dad in one house, and with my mum and dad and little sister, all at the front, and then was Uncle Wade, Uncle Ruben, all on the one block, then had my nan's sister on the same block with her family. Then on my pop side, we had his father and mum down the back, way down the back. So in 5 acre, I think we had probably about 30 odd family members living on it.
That would have been unbelievable.
Yeah, so I'll say we grew up on a mango farm because we had lots of mangoes on the property. So it was just it was just a good experience to grow up with, like a lot of family
around.
I guess that's like a lot of Indigenous, kids. So you just having kids now, it just feels like it's so natural to. I don't know. It just feels like it's just normal, yeah.
And I feel like the relationships that you have with the boys at the footy club as well. Obviously, you have kids. Cal has kids.
Yep.
It's awesome now to see that and bring all you guys together. And because you're all over on that Wynnum side, you've got your own little place over in Brisbane.
I was.
Oh yeah, where are you now?
Alex Hills now.
Oh
He's
yeah,
moved.
that's nice.
Moved
But is it good
further
to see that and have all the kids running around together up here?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, just every time we just have like a little barbecue every now and again, and just like going over to whoever's house we organise it for, and just all have a laugh. And I guess you just see it. You see it every bloody day when you come into the club. So
Yeah.
it's such a good little good little
crew
we got going on.
We
Yeah.
were talking about, we've got Nakia coming on next. We're talking about how good he's been around the club in educating us all and, helping us to understand the culture and different bits and pieces. What have you really enjoyed having Nakia at the club, and what have you seen from him that's helped around the place and that he's implemented to help all of us and to help you guys as well?
Yeah, I think the connections he's has provided for the club. I know a lot of people have gone to him to kind of see who they can connect with, especially like around the upstairs here, which has been really good.
Yeah.
But even for us too, having someone to talk to about if you have any issues, that come up, maybe social media stuff, and he's right on to those kind of things.
Yeah.
So having him here is like another sort of person we can just lean on and respect as well, because he's done such a good job.
Yeah.
And so hopefully he can just continues to build on that, and because
You can stay away from Blake. Stay away from Blakey as long as he stays away from Blakey. We're going to get him big gold on that. Blakey Coleman gave him a little jab in the nose, shadow boxing the other day, and blood and claret coming out and he was walking around the club with a tissue. So he was asking everyone what had happened to him. Just before we let you go, I know you got to get down for your massage, mate. Tell us about the VFL this year. 7-0. You've been playing some seriously good footy. Mm-hmm. You've got the helmet this week to run around at training for the tackle make of the week. Tell us a bit about your form and how you found it this year, mate.
Look, I think form-wise, I've just gone in with just a different mentality, I guess. I guess I'm just a bit more relaxed this year and not taking everything so serious, whereas I kind of was overthinking last year, and coming into the game with a clear mind on the game plan, and even throughout the week, just making sure I train and do everything right. But our boys are going well. As you saw, like we've got some good forward line players and we've got some good midfielders and backs. So I think we're all just starting to gel and just connect, which obviously it's shown by us being 7-0. So
seems to be a really selfless group, and I think you lead the way in that regard. Guys that could be having shots are handing them off and doing all the hard stuff. So that you don't always see that in the VFL.
No.
You've probably noticed that a little bit.
I think I was probably a little bit too selfless. It was on. I shanked it, but I think our best shot mentality has just come a long way from last year.
Yep.
I just remember one little moment we had I think it was like probably around the 50 metre. Blake Coleman marked it straight in the middle to Matho, just straight away. So,
it can be like in VFL, you can fall into the trap of kind of thinking the only way that I'm going to be able to get into the team is that if I kick all the goals, but that is not happening at all in our team, and I think that's why they are playing so well. Well, even though it was a little stopover, Cocky, thank you very much. We'll have to get you on and have a full chat once, but you go get that massage and let's start stirring up Nuxie.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Britt.
Good luck.
We're with Nuxie, Anthony Corrie. Thanks for coming on, mate. Obviously a very special week for you and the boys at the footy club. We had Cocky just talking to us about how important it is to him, but do you also want to touch on how special and important it is for you and previous players and all the boys at the footy club and in the AFL?
Yeah, look, being an ex-player at the Lions, I didn't have the opportunity to wear an Indigenous jumper or even play an Indigenous round. So it's been good. I was a part of the DJ White last year, who developed the Brisbane Bears design, but then now worked with Ash and Desi on this one, and it's sort of, I guess this gives us a sense of pride in being able to sort of do something like this to, just celebrate the great players that have come before us and set the foundations in and around, I guess, our culture and being sort of role models. So, yeah.
Do you want to tell us a bit about your journey to the AFL? Where did you grow up? And
grew up in Darwin, so like Cockie's story. The Brisbane Lions, or Brisbane Bears at the time, had a really good, really strong connection with the Darwin community up there, and the likes of Matty Armat, Fabian Francis, Adam Coronero, Russell Jeffrey, then Magic McLean, and then through that sort of Brisbane Lions days, there was sort of Darryl White and Chrissy Johnson and Shannon Rusker as well from Darwin, and Jared Brennan's from Darwin, and Zach Bailey's from Darwin. So, you've got that connection there, and so that's sort of, I was fortunate enough to get drafted in 2003, which was the peak of the Lions sort of dynasty, and was able to sort of celebrate the 2003 grand final. I did a lap of honour and all that sort of stuff as well. So, Lee Matthews sort of called me a hanger-honourer, which now I wear with pride and tell that joke, that story a lot. So, but look, we've, as a footy club, we've had a really strong connection back to the Northern Territory, and we've had a lot of Darwin or NT players come through there.
So, Nux, you said here in 2003, what was that like being around, some of the players who were playing at that stage, like some superstars of the competition? How did you find it? Like, because you only would have been young then, so what was it like for you coming into the club then?
It was like sort of a ringing wet, sort of 65 kilo skinny Indigenous kid coming in. You've got the likes of Lepage and Voss and Mel Michael, even Chrissy Johnson. They're all bench pressing over 100 kilos, and you're just sitting there and going, well, I've never bench pressed in my life. And so, I literally only was able to bench press the bar. First
I've been there.
So, just having those guys and watching, I don't regret anything about not sort of being able to create a big sort of career for myself. But there's probably a couple of things that sort of I look back on now and sort of like every other young kid, love to go out and get on the sauce and stuff like that. But it's sort of, when I got an injury in 2006, that sort of hit home that I needed to get an education outside of footy, and that's sort of my role here at the footy club is to look after our Indigenous players and also non-Indigenous players to get into employment outside, or not just employment, but education and training outside of the AFL system.
Yeah, we were speaking about that before. I think since you've been here, the education for us has gone to another level, and it's really good to learn about all the boys a little bit more and to spend time with you. You've done a few sessions with us, but have you really enjoyed that side of things? I mean, you've brought a few different little initiatives in, and even the first team to wear the polos.
I'm excited. I know it's people go, that looks awesome. It's one of those things where the club gets behind it, and now the community is supporting it as well, where we're sort of going on a journey to, I guess, educate ourselves on our shared history. Going through school, and you guys would be the same, and a few people at home would be the same as well. We have never learnt about the pre-settlement, and what has happened, and that is a part of our history. And like we've said in the past, it's not sort of we're not saying it's us versus them. It's more making sure that we're educating our sort of next generations, and we're moving forward as a nation, and which we will in time, and that'll come hopefully along the way.
Yeah. We talk about you having such a good relationship with the boys, and the boys going to stitch you up here. Yesterday or last week? Blakey Coleman. Tell us what happened, because apparently you were running around the whole footy club with tissues up your nose. Right there.
So look, we were mucking around, play fighting and slapping, and I thought I was on top there for a little while.
You had him in a headlock.
Had him in a headlock. I grappled him and took him to the ground and all that sort of stuff. And I think young Blakey didn't like that, so I came in for another little slap around thing, and he's throwing an overhand right, and I just started welling up, and blood was going everywhere. So Yeah, now Charlie's walking around with his phone and
he's got the video footage of it. Because he came in and I saw Blakey was in the gym and Blakey was sitting down. I'm like, Blakey, what's wrong? He goes, I feel so bad. I'm like, what's wrong? He goes, I just bobbed Nuxie in the nose and he's bleeding. But touch on those as well, the boys we've got here, you've got such a great relationship with them. What's it like working with blokes like, obviously, because they're all very different. Like Blakey's different, Charlie's different, Cal's different. Like, what's it like working with those boys?
They're all the same. Like we talk about they're different. They're different. We know Charlie. Charlie's a loudmouth and he likes to be a centre of attention. However, behind closed doors, the whole six of them. We've got six Indigenous boys here at the moment, and we were talking about it the other day, and we've got a really strong group.
Yeah.
Which has literally helped, not just on the field but off the field as well. So we have our jokes, and I know at the lunchtime tables, everyone looks around and there's 7 black fellas sitting over there having lunch together, and people we want people to come over and join in, which happens, and have a good old laugh, and there's always banter, and that's probably why people look at us and go, well, now you guys are teasing the hell out of each other. Why is that? It's just what we do, and have a bit of fun with it.
The coffees.
Oh,
Did the club give you a budget?
No, they don't give me a budget. And you know what the funny thing is like, I try my hardest not to shout coffees every now and again. But these boys are on a wage more than
and Charlie,
especially Charlie.
Charlie's on your back the whole time.
That's exactly right. Asking for a nice latte. So look, if it's helping sort of their well-being and their off the field stuff, man, I'm more than happy to sort of do that sort of stuff. And
another thing I want to touch on with Nuxie. So at the start of the year, obviously community camp, and I remember talking to Tommy Fulton and Reece Matheson, who had the pleasure of coming out with you, and they saw, like, their eyes were opened, and they said this was like an unbelievable experience. Do you want to touch on that and how you went with all the boys out there?
Yeah, look, we went out to Mergen and Cherbourg.
Yeah.
So we just went to the Mergen High School and did some clinics out there with the guys. We met young Selwyn Cobbo's brother, and he's a beast. Like, he's literally the same body size as Selwyn, and we sort of try to persuade him to come and play AFL and try AFL out. But the boys sort of, it was an eye opener because they've gone from Mergen and then went to the Sunshine Coast, and it's just sort of that different demographic, and sort of, I guess, social skills in and around that area. But then we were able to go out and give the guys a bit of, and I have never been to the ration shed either in Cherbourg. So Cherbourg's a little mission, well, not a little mission, was one of the biggest missions in southeast Queensland, and the boys were able to go out and sort of listen to the stories of Uncle Arnold Murray. So he's an elder out there, and he was literally on Cherbourg when that was a mission, and he told us about the beds and stuff they used, and it was good to have Reece and Tommy out there because they literally want to get involved now, and they understand what their role is now to educate, and also even just help. With that education, and a bit of laughs on the way in the buses and stuff. We had young Peter Yagamore driving us in the bus and taking cars and almost getting hit by second cars coming the other way.
No thanks. It's like Bezza driving.
Well, what we're going to do is just to finish off, Nux, we're going to ask you a real tough question here because there has been a lot of really good Indigenous players that have played in the AFL. If you were to knuckle it down to 3, your favourite 3, who would you go for? And it can't be Charlie. Don't put Charlie.
No, Charlie would be probably in the top 10. But I guess growing up, you had the likes of, from Darwin anyway, you had the likes of, Michael Long, Magic McLean, Andrew McLean, McLeod as well. And then you sort of had, Silver Rioli and stuff like that. So, look, I know you're putting me on the spot. I'd probably say, Michael McLean would probably be my number 1, only because he's the one that probably shaped me in becoming an AFL player and getting drafted. But I also enjoyed watching him play on TV. Then probably my cousin Fabian Francis as well. He played at Brisbane Bears and then also went to the Port Power. And the third would probably be DJ White or even Chrissy Johnson. Both guys literally. I know there are 3 connections back to the footy club somehow, but those 2 last guys, they literally sort of helped me along my way in my transition from coming from literally nothing to where I am today. So yeah.
How good was that vision of DJ holding the ball up like he's old man?
I think his dad goes, Mate, don't get your own tweet.
I need to stop. No, that's perfect, Nuxie. Well, thanks very much for jumping on the potty with us, mate. It's awesome this week, as you said, to educate. And the jumpers, they've come up unbelievable, and to hear the stories behind them. And, obviously everyone listening now and people that will be watching over the weekend understand how each jumper has a different story and how special they are. So thanks very much, mate. Obviously, everyone, thank you very much for listening to the podcast, and we hope you enjoyed it. If you have, make sure you do follow the podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Again, get your tickets this week.
Get your best kick-on stories.
Your best kick-on stories, so we can talk about them next week.
Nuxie to have a few good kick-on stories.
We're running out of time, though, so we've got to get Nuxie out. Thanks very much, guys, and we look forward to seeing you this weekend.